Hi, it's Jo with Jo Wise Leadership, and today we're talking about nurturing your passions. I'm going to wait for an audience to build while I share my page. I'll be with you in a moment. It is a rainy day in Melbourne today. I've already got people coming on. Hello. Say hi when you come on so I know who's here. I'm just sharing with my other page and I will be with you. The connection is a little bit dodgy today. It took me about 3 minutes to connect, which is why I'm a few minutes late, so I apologize for that. So we'll see how we go today. All right. Oh, thank you for the love, Leonie. Nice to see you. All right. Hello. Nice to see you today. My name is Jo with Jo Wise Leadership, and today we're talking about nurturing what inspires you, nurturing your passions. I did a leadership training today, this morning with a new corporate client of mine, and it was pretty cool, actually. It was the first time I've worked in their business, and they were really, really lovely people. I was doing a behavioral profiling training with a whole room of like 11 leaders. It was fantastic. And one of the things I got them to do at the start was to introduce themselves. A nice, thank you, Leonie. Yes, I am well, and I hope you're well too. One of the things I ask them to kick off the training, I always get people to introduce themselves, which generally people don't like. But obviously there's some very specific reasons that we do that in training. And one of the things I got them to do today is obviously say their name, but I also got them to say what is one of the tasks or the jobs, the roles that they do within their job that is really inspiring to them, that gets their blood pumping, that they love to do. And I did say this doesn't need to be a huge part of your job. It may not even technically be under your role. It may not be seen as to be really important in the whole business, but what's the one thing that you get to do within your role at some stage that absolutely you love, really gets the blood pumping, that you really, really enjoy. As I said, you don't even need to be great at it, but you just really, really enjoy it. And when we went around the table, it was really fascinating because in this business, they've done a lot of work over the last couple of years and they're growing really quickly. But pretty much every single person in the room was doing something, like their thing that they absolutely loved was actually a major part of their job. Now this is interesting because it's one of the first businesses I've been into for quite a while where the thing that they love to do the most is the main part of their job, because quite often it's something they may not get to do much. Hi Helen, nice to see you. Or it might be just sort of something that they've started to do, it's not actually part of their role. And it was interesting because I spoke last week at a training specifically around your energy. Yes, I think I keep saying good morning, don't I, because I'm so used to doing these in the morning. Good afternoon. I did a training last week which was all about boosting your energy, and one of the things I talked about was to nurture what inspires you. And I've been thinking and talking about this a lot since. It's so interesting with our jobs because, the jobs that we have and that we choose. Hi Gian, nice to see you. Because for some people it's like, oh, it's just work. I don't need to be overly concerned about it. I don't have to enjoy it so much. It's just work. And then other people like me are like, no, if I'm going to be spending my time doing these particular jobs, I want to really, really enjoy it. But the first step for this, I think, is really important, is to step back and to ask yourself, what is it that you do really enjoy? And it's one of the things I do with my clients quite often, is actually take them back to, instead of what's next, is what are the things that you really, really enjoy doing? What are the things that really get your blood pumping? What are the things that, you get really excited about when you're talking about? Go back to all of those things. And sometimes they're things we get to do in our jobs and sometimes they're not. Hi Tatiana, nice to see you. So, one of the things, as I said today, I wanted to talk about nurturing what inspires you. The first step for this is actually working out what does inspire you. And one of the interesting things that came out in that book that was written by Elizabeth Gilbert recently, it's like a Big Magic or something like that, was something really hit home with me, which was in her book, which was about every single thing that inspires you doesn't need to become your job. She also talks about that, you know, when she's sitting down in her writing process and writing her books, she doesn't put the expectation on it every single time that this is going to be a bestseller, because she thinks it's sort of too much responsibility to put on a creative idea. And I think that's really interesting, because I think there's, you know, as I said, there's sort of one group of people in our world that are like, you know, work's just work, I don't have to enjoy it so much. And the other lot of us that are like, well, I totally want to be doing things that inspire me every day and get my blood pumping and that I really enjoy. But it doesn't need to be either of those things. It doesn't have to be something. We don't have to work in the areas that inspire us. There's way other options for us. Hi Jane, hi Steph, nice to see you all. So when I'm talking about nurturing what inspires you, I think the first thing is, as I said, to get really, really clear on what does inspire you. And then I think it's really important to sort of start looking around at where the opportunities are. Some of these opportunities could be paid opportunities, like I've chosen to do. Things that I'm extremely passionate about, I've created a career and a life around. You know, for me is coaching and training and doing things like this and teaching and interacting and connecting with people are all things that are deeply important to me. And also my family is extremely important to me. So I do my job most of the time where it works for me around my family hours. So, you know, that's something that I've developed and created over the years, and it's working really well. And the more I work in those areas, the more I thrive, the more that I get more excited, the more that I'm, you know, I feel great about what I do and all of those things. However, not everybody will always work in their passions. You know, I know somebody at the moment that's a writer and they're not working in their passion. They're working a 9-to-5 job, but they're doing some writing after hours. Another woman that I worked with last year or the year before, she had a real interest in social media, and she had a job that she loved, that she did full time, and she didn't really want to stop doing her job and go and work in social media. So what she started to do is when she was able to identify that social media was a real sweet spot for her, she didn't want to go and create a business around it. She started to look for opportunities within her business for how she can nurture this passion even more. She's done that for about the last 12 months, looking for opportunities. She ended up doing a heap of LinkedIn strategies for all of the managers and the directors of their organization, and sort of working in that type of area within the job that she had, without actually having to change roles to chase what nurtures her. Fast forward with her, she has now made the next step and is now creating working part-time and creating a part-time business around it. So it's really interesting because there's so many different options, and we don't need to cut ourselves off from any of the options. Like, you know, oh, this passion that I've got can't make me any money. Well, so don't put that expectation on it. Nurture some time and carve out some time where you can spend time on that around where you do make money. Now, Helen's just written a comment here. It says, TED Talks, your elusive creative genius is Elizabeth Gilbert about why doing okay is okay. Yes, I saw that. I think that's been around for a while, Helen. Thank you for sharing. But a TED Talk, Elusive Creative Genius by Elizabeth Gilbert, Helen recommends. I might go and revisit that actually, because I don't remember much about it, but I'm pretty sure that I have seen it. So thanks, Helen. So get clear on what you want to nurture, what it is that inspires you, what pumps your blood, what are your real passions, what are those things? Then, number 2 is start looking around for opportunities of where you can bring those into your life, whether that's paid work or non-paid work, whether it's working for a charity, whether it is a way of harnessing some of those passions within your current role, or changing roles altogether, or opening a business. There are so many opportunities, but once we identify what they are, we can start looking for the opportunities. Also, something I think is really, really important with that is, who do you know? Who do you know? What are your networks? Who can you collaborate with so that you're able to have these conversations? I know another one of my clients a little while ago, and I've mentioned her a few times lately. She's looking at going from sort of big banking into non-for-profit, and she had made up all of these beliefs around what it meant to work for non-for-profit. And so I challenged her with the idea of going and speaking to some people that work in the part of non-for-profit she wants to work in, and be able to demystify all of those beliefs that she'd made up. And that's what happened. She was able to go into her network on LinkedIn and access a few people there that she was connected with that, you know, were in the areas that she wanted to work in, have coffee with them, catch up, start having conversations, and actually find out really what was going on in that industry and how it was working, what opportunities, what did they know, what's the real information that was going on behind there. So start to ask yourself who you know. If it's a new passion for you, it might be, you know, like my client that was working in a different industry, going into non-for-profit, and didn't know really much about the non-for-profit. So what can happen, as we know, because I say it quite often, is if we don't know the information, we just totally make it up. And that's what she was doing, creating all of this made up information around non-for-profit. When she spoke to the people in the industry, a number of people, found out a whole bit of information, a lot of the information that she was thinking and had made up was actually true, wasn't true. So Steph's just written, who do you know is a really interesting one for me. As I've moved house, I need to create some new local networks and people that are artists. Absolutely. So Steph, you know, you're in a really creative field. So sort of if you don't know people in this area for that, like where do they hang out? What type of activities do they do? Do they do, I know another woman that I was speaking to recently that watches our Facebook Lives is a yoga teacher, and she spends a lot of time with other yogis finding out information. So that's, you know, that might be, you know, there might be certain places that your creatives hang out, Steph, that you can. And that leads me to the next one. So Steph's starting to join groups, excellent. And you can start with those online. But who do you know? The next thing I want to ask you is be willing to ask the question. You know, so in Steph's case, she's moved to a new area and doesn't know people in her field, so she's joining groups. But also ask other people in that industry, in that field, in that interest area, in that passion area, you know, who do you know that lives here that I could speak to? Or who do you think that might be able to help me out? Be willing to ask the people you know, the connections you know, for something. And one of the things I always love to do is also, you know, when I'm asking someone a favor of something, is also ask them, what can I do for you? Because obviously then it's nice to be able to add value where people are adding value to you. That's what I think anyway. So nurture what inspires you. The reason that we want to do this is because the things that inspire us, the things that we're passionate about, the things that get our blood pumping are the things that build our energy. So many people are depleted at the moment and having that lack of energy. When we do what inspires us and what we're passionate about, we get that energy back. And that has a huge impact into every other part of our life. Second thing is why we would nurture what inspires us is because it's fun. Things that inspire us, we enjoy doing. And fun is good. That's all I have to say about that. Listen, if you're working in your career at the moment and you're sort of at a bit of a, not sure what's next, or maybe you haven't looked in this area for a little while because you've been really busy, I'm running a masterclass next week on Tuesday night. I've got a bunch of amazing people on there. So if you're interested in joining us, then I'll put the link on then. You can join it, and it's an online masterclass, just 2 hours in the evening after work. And it's, what was I going to say? Oh, and it's 2 hours and it's online, which means you can do it from anywhere, from your phone, from your computer, from home, whatever you need. So I'll add the link there as well. So get out there, do what inspires you, get the blood pumping, get your passion out there, and notice your energy levels go up, notice your fun levels go up, and we all enjoy life more when that's happening with us. So have an amazing day. I'm heading off to another training very shortly, back into the city. Working at an IT company this afternoon to do behavioural profiling again. So have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.